Well, we got more than the folks at Wintergreen.
Oh boy.
They were actually able to open the resort earlier this year.
I envy all those people that are skiing today, like ABC 13's Will Stafford, who is on skis for the first time.
Well, this is going to be
live
good.
tonight with more on the early season success.
Thank you for the vote of confidence there, Spain. I appreciate it. Hey, I tell you what, they were measuring the snow in feet up here in Wintergreen, and they want you to come enjoy it. With Sunday's snow, many people have developed slope fever. Wintergreen is noticed.
We were able to get open early here. The cold weather's been beautiful for us.
That's not the only thing that's been beautiful. Sunday, Mother Nature brought even more than a foot of snow here.
Here on the mountain, we saw about 17 to 21 inches of snow.
That's not counting the pack powder. So in terms of actual snowfall, they have
Probably about 30% more snow than I typically would have at this moment.
In other words, you're looking at a mountain that's in mid-season form. We caught up with several on the slopes today, saying they came because
new fresh snow.
Thanks to Sunday's storm, several people are taking advantage of their newfound time off.
We have school off today, so we decided to come out.
And even after the snow melts in your backyard, Wintergreen reminds you.
Check our web cameras. We typically have snow in our backyard.
So if you want to hit the slopes, Wintergreen wants you to come see them. And
just shred on. Yeah, just keep riding.
all right, so all day long they have allowed me to come out here and learn how to ski. Now, you would think someone that loves winter as much as I do would have actually skied before now, but shocker, I haven't. So right here on television, what a better time to learn how to ski than right now. I've had Brandon out here teaching me the basics for the last, say, 5 minutes. That's plenty of time to allow myself to make a fool of myself on television. All right, Brandon, I'm going to try and ski down that thing right there, okay? Here we go. Here we go. All right. Yeah, look at that. Heads up, Brandon.
Stop. How do you stop, Will? Do you know how to stop? It's called a snowplow.
No, it's
do the pie. Pie
do
it.
the snow-
There you go. Pizza
there.
pie. Pizza pie!
Hey, all right, Will.
There you go, yes.
It's time to clean up the parkway, but not in the way you're probably thinking.
ABC 13's Will Stafford shows us what crews are doing that's a little bit different.
A trip along the Blue Ridge Parkway is incomplete unless you stop at one of the 900 vistas along the way. But recently, thanks to seed rain and migrating animals dropping those seeds, many unplanned trees have sprouted up. But they're obstructing the views that have made the parkway famous. That's where this crew comes in. The Arbor Response Team is comprised of Park Service employees from across the country. And for 2 weeks, they converge on the parkway to clear up these views. They call it the Vista Restoration Project. Dave Anderson is the project manager.
We're looking at all of our Vista inventory and making sure that the views are the same views that the designers of the Blue Ridge Parkway intended for the public to enjoy. By removing those trees, that allows the public to better enjoy the national park.
And when it's finished, they make what was old and unviewable new again. The idea is, with the work done here today, you should be able to enjoy this view for at least another 50 years. On the Parkway, Will Stafford, ABC 13 News.
And has been shining light on old treasures for years.
Rick McMullen calls himself the urban alchemist, and he showed off his passion to ABC 13's Will Stafford in tonight's People and Places.
Have you ever had a moment that it seems like the light bulb just clicks on?
Electricity and what it's capable of doing and the way that we use it has always fascinated me.
Rick McMullen, a former engineer, has found new light in retirement, turning junk into treasure.
That's what I want. I need that woo thing when I see it.
The story of how he came to building lamps is ironically similar to his own story. After moving to the States in 2003 from Britain, he traded his engineering background to focus on selling antiques, his lifelong passion. And then it morphed into this craft.
It allows me to give something a function that it never had.
Down in his workshop in Evington, he takes pieces like this and turns them into this. And he credits his work to one thing.
All this stuff was made by craftsmen. It was made to last 70 or 100 years, and it has done.
And his goal is to make it last 100 more.
The very first one I did was a fan. Was an old iron desk fan. I had no idea what was involved in doing that. No clue.
And from that fan, his portfolio has illuminated to more lamps than he can remember.
And every one is different. There are not two the same.
Is there anything he can't build into a lamp?
Absolutely not, no. There's nothing that cannot be made into a lamp if I can use a double negative. Everything can be made into a lamp.
So how much does he charge? Rick says it ranges anywhere between $25 to hundreds of dollars. It's all based on what he has to buy to build it. If you'd like a custom lamp from the Urban Alchemist, you can visit his website. We'll link you over to right now at WSET.com. Just search People.
You can make a difference in Lynchburg in the next few weeks by volunteering with the James River Association.
ABC 13's Will Stafford shows us how easy it is and why it's so important.
The James River has been a part of Lynchburg for generations, and good news, the water is as healthy as it's ever been. It provides everything from drinking water to an economic booster to a major recreational center. So it's important to keep it clean. And good news, it is.
We did make it to a B-.
That's the grade according to the new State of the James report. That B- is the highest it's ever been. 10 years ago, the river was in far worse shape.
We were in the D range.
But the James River Association says now, thanks in part to the city and even local farmers controlling wastewater treatment, pollution levels have decreased.
That's a couple of the things in our local area that have been done to really help the state of our river.
But one of the biggest assets they have is you, and they need more volunteers.
To have eyes and ears in and around all of the waterways of the James, not only the main stem of the James, but all of our tributaries as well, we have to have some supportive volunteers.
Those volunteers are called river rats.
Some are lawyers, some are doctors, some are trash cleanup guys. I mean, we really have everybody on the spectrum. They just look for any change that we have, whether there's maybe a new pipe that's dumping liquids into the water, whether it's a forest that has just been chopped down right along the river's edge.
Good stewards of the river, training others to be good stewards of the river so everyone can enjoy.
You don't have to have any specific qualifications whatsoever. We'll teach you everything that you need to know.
We put everything you need to know on how you can make the river even better on our ABC 13 app. Floating down the river, Will Stafford, ABC 13 News.
If you're interested in being a river rat, there is a recruiting event you can attend March 10th at River Edge Park. It's at 10 a.m. You can get the details now at WSET.com. Just search River Rat. And at 7, see the way you'll be able to enjoy this river when it warms up.
In Amherst County, one guy got fired up about snow removal, literally.
ABC 13's Will Stafford met the man who found a new way to remove the white stuff.
Hey guys, most of us by this point have more than likely gotten our driveways clean, and most of us have more than likely used a traditional method like salt or maybe the old standby shovel here. However, there is one guy who hates snow so much that he found a different way to do it. He wanted no trace of snow, so he used this. Nathaniel Kaplinger torched all the snow out of his driveway. He said he hates shoveling snow so much, just the idea of it makes him cringe. So one night at work, while reading a gun magazine, he came up for an ad for a blowtorch and how effective it is. And it's even been advertised for removing snow. So after consulting with local county officials, there is no law against it in Amherst County. He made the purchase. He's been pretty happy with it, but he does stress using it safely.
Make sure there's no flammables anywhere nearby. Make sure that only what you want to burn, and make sure afterwards hang out for about a half hour. Make sure nothing reignites.
We also reached out to Amherst County Public Safety Director Gary Rokes, who tells us that while this method may not be right for everybody, it is somewhat effective. He also encourages any of you that are thinking of trying this method to consult with your local authorities and officials just to make sure that it is the right thing for you to do. In Campbell County, Will Stafford, ABC 13 News.
One of the highest grossing superhero movies of all time. The Black Panther is opening in theaters this weekend. The comic book hero has been inspiring kids for generations. But as ABC 13's Will Stafford reports, one local man's love for Marvel heroes turned into a job.
Chances are you've probably read a comic book or two in your day, but have you made a career out of it? Probably not. This guy has. Meet Dr. Matthew Smith, currently a professor at Radford University. Soon he'll add a new title to his resume.
I'm a co-curator
of the soon-to-be Marvel Comics exhibit, which will open April 21st at the Pop Culture Museum in Seattle. There, visitors will walk through the early days of Marvel with rare collectibles, original artwork, and a whole lot more. Plus, with the excitement around everything Marvel recently, Smith expects this to allow people
to get in touch with the origins of the content.
So how does one get such an elusive gig? The answer? A letter to the editor.
And that letter to the editor got the attention of the promoter, who reached out to me and said, "You seem like you know what you're talking about when it comes to comics."
Well, seeing as he has,
It's about 16,484 right now.
I'd say they're right. We also picked his brain about the new Black Panther movie.
The timing of this film is the right time, both because Marvel's on a roll and because the hero matches the times in which we find ourselves, interested in heroic figures who rise above the pettiness of politics.
As for the next big Marvel blockbuster,
We might see a Fantastic Four reboot.
and you can bet that when the Black Panther hits the big screen, Dr. Smith here will be first in line. In Radford, Will Stafford, ABC 13 News. Coaches don't last forever, but Liberty High School's Jeff Steele has outlasted most in his field. Over 2 decades of drafting plays
Ask yourself, is this the best you've got tonight?
and working with players.
Drive it through, hard strikes.
22 years of memories. But after this season, Steele will hang up his playbook for the last time.
I didn't come into education to coach, I came into education to teach.
His accomplishments on the field, though, are many, and narrowing it down to the biggest one isn't easy.
Probably the proudest would be our first championship in 2003. Be one of the very few teams that can call themselves Seminole District champions. That's my probably proudest single moment.
Steele believes that succeeding here on the field can really only take you so far, which is why he's put so much emphasis on succeeding here in the classroom. And by the looks of things, it looks like it's succeeded. Steele has always pushed his teams to do more than what's required in the classroom.
They've always set their own goals for the season, and they've always included a goal for a certain threshold of a team GPA, and it's always high, 3.5, 3.7, and they always meet it.
Steele's own daughter, Hannah, is a senior this year. She's heading to Yale in the fall.
You met and reached a dream that's hard to reach. That's what makes me exceptionally proud.
Erica Porter played for Steele in the early 2000s.
He instilled in us the sense that we could achieve.
Recently, former members of his squad surprised him at a home game, a testament to what he means to them and what they mean to him.
Knowing that I was part of really making some incredible young women who are doing great things in this world, that's what it means the most to me and what I take away from it the most. Liberty Pride on 3. 1, 2, 3. Liberty Pride!
Steele is taking a teaching position at the Central Virginia Governor's School next year and will be an adjunct professor at Randolph College. In the Lynchburg studio, Will Stafford, ABC 13 News.
I don't even remember my own name. That's why
Almost 100,000 people die every year due to Alzheimer's disease, according to the CDC.
And one local man has made it his mission to educate others about the deadly disease. In tonight's People and Places, ABC 13's Will Stafford found how he uses his voice to make a difference.
Who did you say your name is?
If you've ever driven down Langhorne Road, you can hear it.
Did you say you some kin to me?
It's the sound of hope.
Sing me an old gospel song.
Meet Leroy Copeland, a retired minister who years ago decided to use his talents to raise awareness for Alzheimer's by doing something simple.
I don't know who you are, but I do know who my Jesus is. If you ever been around Alzheimer's patients, that's the way they talk. But once you started singing the gospel song, they know every word.
For years, Copeland has visited Alzheimer's patients in the area, helping to lift them from the fog, if only for a moment.
I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
For Copeland, this is personal.
My mother died of Alzheimer's. Her 3 sisters died of Alzheimer's.
That's why he's doing his part, one note at a time.
I don't know just who you are, but I do know who my Jesus is.
If you'd like to hear all of Leroy's story, you can go to WSET.com and search Alzheimer's. You can also find out how to get a copy there. If you buy the song, 50% of the proceeds will go to the Alzheimer's research. In Lynchburg, Will Stafford, ABC 13 News.